Okay, here we are back again with the Tomcat for the third and final video. Let's create a new event. Let's do a doubles super melee. We'll turn on the buy rating just in case. We'll go to next, and let me just put in, whoops, let me just put in very quickly a few names. And it's a doubles super melee, so player names get put in individually and then get paired up once we start. What have we got? David, Shirley, James. You can see it's much slower doing this. If you know the people's names before, it's much better to have them imported. What have we got? We need one more, don't we? Whoops, missed. Okay, so there's 8 players for a double super melee. We can shuffle them around a bit. Hit next. Doubles melee, put a date on it if you like. Started. I didn't want lanes to occur, but you can't take the lane number back to 0 to start with. But if I come here, I can disable that. Okay, so I have no lanes, free terrain. And again, people are of course paired up. It's a doubles melee. And if I put in, for example, Peter and Shirley are 13 and the opposition is 9, both Peter and Shirley get the same ranking, obviously. Let's put in this one here and do 6, 13. Okay, so because it's a doubles melee, the scores come in pairs. So let's do the next round. Before we actually start it, one other feature. I've left this left pane open, and we know what that does. That takes us back to the home page. We can start all over again or start new events. The settings you can look at which relate to the settings for the particular event that we'll do it. We'll click on it. Okay, so this is the points to win and the points for win, but this is the only one that matters, and we retain that. We'll close that. The players are plus players' names. Remember, in this particular program, you can add players and you can correct the spelling by renaming players, but the remove doesn't work. Don't put in players or teams who aren't there because you can't remove them. Lanes we've discussed. The external display. It's not a final event, it's a qualifying event. We'll turn that on. I'll leave it dark. We might as well show the event name, and we'll leave this tick show table. That is the ranking table, and click on it. The dark theme is obvious. This is the dark background. So here is the current ranking table. Here is the finished games, and here are the next games. So if you get hold of this display here and put your laptop into extended display mode with another display sitting off but connected to this, you can actually move this across and have this on a separate table showing the finished games, the next game. So it shows the progress of the event and also the next games. And again, the table here automatically updates. If you have lots of teams in, if it exceeds the depth of this table here, it does actually automatically rotate slowly, so you can see the rankings of all the players, all the teams. I don't have a separate display connected, so I'll turn this off, but that's an extremely useful feature. And so if I just keep on going now, put 7, 13, and you'll notice here this is now starting to split these players up into separate ranks. Go one more and do a third round. Now you don't have to go too far with 8 only teams. If if you find players playing with players or against players they've played with previously, it wouldn't surprise me. And this is what happens. It is a random draw, so repeat pairings will happen very quickly with small numbers. But that has introduced the idea of the extended or external display, which you can use to allow people to see what's happened, what's going to happen, and also the current ranking. You have to experiment if you're outside, whether it's better to have a dark theme or a bright theme. Okay, now having done all that, go back to the beginning, look at the other events. We've covered the random rounds, we've covered the Swiss system, we've introduced the doubles melee. The doubles mix and match is very similar to this, but it keeps them in groups of 4. We've used the elimination. We haven't run it from here. We've run it after we've run qualifying rounds previously. The round robin is pretty well self-explanatory. If you have 6 teams, there'll be 5 rounds. If you have 8 teams, there'll be 7 rounds. What about an odd number? If you have 5 teams, there will be 5 rounds, and each team will have a sit-out as long as you don't tick the bye feature. If you have a round robin and an odd number of teams, don't tick the bye feature. They just have a sit-out. There's no scores allocated. Okay, and that's about it. Thank you.